Good morning, everyone, and welcome to NORC, to NJIT, to the New Jersey Innovation Institute, and to the official ribbon cutting of the NJII Venture Studio. My name is MJ Durkin, and I'm fortunate to serve as the director of the NJII Venture Studio, as well as today the MC for the event. Thank you all for coming out on this rainy day, especially to our distinguished guests, who include Governor Phil Murphy, Mayor Baraka, CEO of the NJEDA, Tim Sullivan, as well as several other elected officials, board members, and leaders across industry, government, and academia. We're so grateful for you all to be here to support us as we mark the official launch of the NJII Venture Studio. I speak on behalf of the entire NJII team when I say we're so excited about everything that the Venture Studio will accomplish in the coming years. And we know we won't be able to do it without the support of everyone in this room. You'll hear all about what exactly the Venture Studio will do from our distinguished speakers, but before we get to that, I'd like to take a step back and explain a bit about what NJII does. We're a nonprofit organization wholly owned by NJIT, which is the state's public polytechnic university. Founded in 2014, our mission is to serve as the conduit between NJIT and the broader world, to transform the university's vast resources and innovations into economic and societal impact. The Venture Studio embodies this mission in its purest form, and its vision was set by our first speaker, Dr. Michael Johnson, president of NJII. Dr. Johnson leads both NJII and the Venture Studio, drawing in part on his own experience founding a startup that leveraged university IP to meet an industry need and generate real economic impact, all right here in New Jersey. I personally can't think of anyone better to lead this initiative. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming the president of NJII, Dr. Michael Johnson.
Excellent, thank you, MJ. So as MJ said, I'm Dr. Michael Johnson. I'm the president of the New Jersey Innovation Institute. Welcome to NJI, welcome to NJIT, the state's polytechnic university. A little over 6 years ago, when I was CEO of a company here in New Jersey, I founded the state. I stood on stage with Governor Murphy, Senator Zwicker, and Senator Sarlo at the Commercialization Center for Innovative Technologies in Newark, Brunswick, now the NJIT Bioscience Center. Behind us was this big red banner that said, "Reclaiming the Innovation Economy," which at the time I thought was funny, because to be honest, we had a pretty nascent innovation economy 6, 7 years ago. And especially when you compare us to our peers in Boston or San Francisco. Further, as someone who's built and sold a company here in New Jersey that leveraged NJ intellectual property, I just didn't feel like I was in an innovation economy, what that truly felt like. However, since then, I've been absolutely blown away by the progress that this administration has made in building an innovation economy within New Jersey and truly working with stakeholders across higher education, real estate, and the overall business community. The NJEDA has done a great job in this regard, and I credit Tim Sullivan and his team, and especially Kathleen Coviello, on their partnership with innovators in the state. And in one of my first meetings with Kathleen in my role here as the NJI president, she asked me a question, which was, tell me the type of programs you think we should build as the NJEDA. And this is exactly the kind of leadership that we need in the state. It's the type of leadership that builds our innovation, builds our innovators, and really asks what's truly needed for the economy in New Jersey. A great testament to this is the Strategic Innovation Center program, which is perfectly designed for our state and our unique needs by building ecosystems of innovation that bring together higher education, industry, and spaces for our innovators to live and to work within the state. I'm beyond thrilled to have the state's 7th Strategic Innovation Center here in Newark at NJIT, and we look forward to fostering innovation through our NJII Venture Studio initiative. The initiative itself is tasked with something bold. It's with addressing a fundamental challenge with academia, which is that we have lots of really smart people, lots of really great resources, lots of great intellectual property, but most of the time that IP never sees the light of day and never turns into products, services, or software that get into the world and actually help people, which is the whole point. Our Venture Studio over the next 4 years will take IP from NJIT in partnership with our Center for Translational Research, led by Dr. Tom Dewan, as well as from our collaborators, combine it with industry partners, and launch 10 companies that will bring innovations to market over the next 4 to 5 years. Each company will be funded with up to $1 million by the Venture Studio and will tackle some of the world's toughest problems while leveraging New Jersey's best innovations and most innovative leaders. In the process, we'll work with other SICs to build an ecosystem of founders, operators, innovators, and partners that continue to build our innovation economy and put the state in position for continued success. Now, before I pass things back to MJ, I just want to say a special thanks to Dean Perenicus and the NJII board, as well as all the other folks in the room who made this possible. This is a large effort, a little over a year and a half in the making, but we're finally here to cut the ribbon today, and I appreciate all of your support and all of your guidance. Thank you.
Experience as a startup founder here in New Jersey and in the innovation ecosystem here, and it's amazing to think of the progress that's been made in just a few short years. Next, I have the honor of introducing Dr. Teik C. the 9th president of NJIT. Under President Lim's leadership, NJIT has cemented itself as a nationally recognized research university and a top producer of technical and entrepreneurial talent. We're fortunate to have NJIT as our primary academic partner, giving us the research and talent foundation to build companies and bring cutting-edge innovations to market. Please join me in welcoming the 9th president of NJIT, Dr. Teik C.
Thank you, Emily. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I would like to especially thank Governor Murphy, Mayor Baraka, members of the NJIT and NJII boards here today, including Board Chair Robert Cohen and Dean Perenicus, for taking time out of your all busy schedule to be part of this very special occasion. You know, one of the main priorities within NJIT's 2030 strategic plan is research, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And both NJII and the Venture Studio will play a critical role in supporting this plan. NJIT is a scientific and technological powerhouse that produces more than $170 million in research activity every year. And we are one of only 3 research universities in New Jersey to attain an R1 status, meaning we are ranked among the very top tier of research university in the nation. And research we do here advances industry and improves lives. We solve real-world problems in areas such as life sciences, healthcare, and medical devices, advanced manufacturing, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, civil infrastructure, material science, and many, many other fields. List goes on and on. The research we do also connects to the classroom and enable us to prepare our students to thrive and lead the workforce of the future. In fact, the most recent Carnegie classification identified us as the only university in the nation that is R1, tech-focused, and is an opportunity college, which means that our students enjoy high career earnings and upward economic mobility. Our commitment to innovation and entrepreneurship brings this all together to produce positive and substantial impacts for our state, our nation, and our world. And this Venture Studio will be a critical addition to our efforts to turn R&D into products and services that can improve people's lives. Basically, we bring joy to living. In fact, right here in this very building, we have NJIT faculty startups that are doing amazing things as we speak. For example, Dr. Chang Yaramoto and his company called OMT have a medical device that was just approved by the FDA for helping children with vision pathologies. Next, Dr. Wen Zhang's nano bubble technology is licensed to Pure Nanotech, a company working to enhance indoor vertical farming and food safety. There are many, many more examples here, but we want even more startups emerging from NJIT, and this will help with that, definitely. As Dr. Johnson just said, our goal is to use the Venture Studio to build at least 10 new companies in the next 5 years. A tall order, but I know we can do it in partnership with the state. Many of you know that we have established and are nurturing a culture of entrepreneurship here at NJIT that will sustain a robust startup ecosystem for many, many years to come. So thank you again for joining us today to celebrate the launch of our new Venture Studio. Thank you.
Thank you, establishing NJIT as an innovation nexus. It is indeed a tall order, but I believe we are up to the task. Next up, we have Robert Cohen, Chair of the NJIT Board of Trustees and President, Digital Robotics and Enabling Technologies at Stryker, and of notable mention, a triple NJIT alumnus. Robert is an expert at transforming cutting-edge innovation into market-ready products. He holds over 25 patents. He's a fellow of the National Academy of Inventors and was just recently elected to the National Academy of Engineering. He's a steadfast supporter of NJIT's innovation ecosystem, and we're proud to have him on our leadership team, helping us drive to the forefront of both technological innovation and industry-academia collaboration. Let's turn it over to Robert Cohen, Chair of the Board of Trustees for NJIT.
I do think as you get older, the introductions get longer. Hey, firstly, though, there's a lot of thanks in the room, and appropriately so, but also for those that are faculty administration for NJIT and NJII, you're also part of what's created here. Just look at the event, look at all the people that have come here. So, on behalf of the trustees and everybody else, I thank you all for your effort. We've made this place a great place, and we're on this journey and trajectory, and you all should take a lot of pride in this moment. So please do share in that. When we were searching for a new president of NJIT 3 years ago, the trustees were clear that the university and industry engagement we wanted to greatly expand, and workforce creation in the state of New Jersey should be a success indicator for this university. So many NJIT graduates, such as myself and those sitting in this room, took an idea and started small companies in the state of New Jersey that benefited society and the local economy. With the appointment of Dr. Lim and the building of his leadership team, we saw, dare I say, got excited, the genuine vision and commitment to university industry engagement and startups. This isn't easy stuff, and it's not for the faint of heart. These are components to make university industry relationships a success. There has to be business impact, measurable and truly meaningful. First, it has to be more than words. It has to be a priority. I can confirm this is a priority of the NJII administration and is predominantly detailed in our latest strategic plan. Second, you have to have the resources and competency in the university to make this happen. This is the beauty of NJIT having created the NJII entity. The NJII entity is now years in existence, and its capabilities are proven. There should be no doubt. Just look as we've done in healthcare and the defense space. Combine the unique skills and attributes of NJIT and the NJII operating structure. Now add to this NJEDA. This is an absolute differentiator. I feel qualified in making that statement. This is the recipe for success. Given my day job at Stryker, a Fortune 200 healthcare medtech company, I have a unique perspective. As many of you know, I'm responsible for robotics, digital, and AI innovation in the operating room. Really cool stuff. Stryker partners with universities across the nation and the globe, really, for both talent acquisition and strategic technology development. As an aside on talent, there are over 100 NJIT grads just up the road that proudly work in the Stryker Monmouth facility. So I understand from both sides of the fence the benefit and the challenges of university industry partnerships. When I think about we, NJIT, NJII, and NJEDA, what we're building here, I see through the lens of both the university and industry engagement. Many folks here know that I am also on the board of directors of NJII, in addition to being the chair of the NJIT Board of Trustees. Dr. Lim approved doubling my pay of $0, by the way, for all this extra effort and photo sessions. Totally appreciate the schedule of this in the middle of the workday too, but that's all there is to it. As such, I've been working closely with Michael Johnson and his team on making the vision of the Venture Studio a reality. There is one design element, though, I want to highlight. We want a corporate partner involved at the earliest stage in every single company we build. Now, there are numerous benefits to this approach to the studio companies, and NJIT and NJIT, I'll speak to those. But I want to frame this as a bit of pitch to my corporate partners that are in this room. First, when I think about this in two ways. First, it's a carrot. It's an incentive for you to look more closely at the IP coming out of NJIT. The NJEDA and NJII are willing to put up their own capital to build companies that are strategically aligned with your goals, whether those are core business goals or maybe aligned with your corporate venture arm. You might already be looking at NJIT IP or maybe not. Either way, reach out to the NJIT. There's another corporate partner orientation, the second way to think about Venture Studio. The NJII Venture Studio is not limited to making investments in NJIT IP. If you're like a striker, you have an IP portfolio that is not part of your core business. And if this IP can solve a problem, let's think about how it can solve a problem for others. Don't hesitate to bring this IP and have a discussion with the NJII Venture Studio. You can leverage the studio's expertise and capitals to spin out a startup from your own company. Now, as a stakeholder in the success of both the studio and NJIT, let me speak with a bit more self-interest. Having a corporate partner at the inception of each new company dramatically increases the chances of their success. Industry partners bring deep market knowledge, established sales channels, and brand equity. New Jersey has so many mid to large sized companies and so much expertise. It's not a big ask to help others to start and grow new companies. There can be no dispute that small startup companies we need more of, not to mention the upside to the regional economy that it provides. The design of the Venture Studio really is ingenious. It's truly a win-win-win for industry, academia, and government partnering together. It's all right here. Thanks to everybody involved in making the Venture Studio a reality, and thanks for the confidence instilled in us to make this a true, measurable New Jersey difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for coming here in the middle of the workday, as well as for teeing up those corporate partnerships for us. I swear I did not ask him to say that, but thank you very much. I'm excited to next bring up Dean Pranicus, Chair of the NJII Board of Directors and retired President and CEO of the Healthcare Institute of New Jersey. Dean has been a powerful advocate for New Jersey's innovation ecosystem throughout his 4-decade career across life sciences, often finding himself at the intersection of healthcare, innovation, and public policy. Dean's visionary leadership has been integral to NJI's growth since its inception, and we're grateful to have him at the helm of the NJII Board of Directors as we enter into this new chapter of launching the NJII Venture Studio. Please let's welcome Chair of the NJII Board of Directors, Dean Pranicus.
Thank you, MJ. Governor, Mr. Mayor, Tim, Kathleen. On behalf of the entire NJII Board of Directors, it's an honor to have you with us this morning. This is a momentous and exciting day to celebrate a new partnership among the state, the City of Newark, NJIT, and NJII. NJIT and NJII are anchor institutions in this great city, which is becoming recognized nationally as a growing technology hub, as was highlighted in a recent Forbes magazine feature, which I would all commend you to read. It's really terrific. It's widely known that the most successful innovation ecosystems in the U.S. rely on enduring commitments from each of their public, private, and academic sectors. Dr. Lim highlighted that today we are realizing a very important milestone in that collaboration for NJII, NJIT, and our partners. It represents a major step forward on our ongoing journey. In the context of the Venture Studio, there is one attribute that sets it apart and that I believe positions us well for success in the future. It's access. It's been mentioned already, access to the C-suite network of C-suite leaders that NJII has developed during its first 10 years in existence across its industry verticals. Over its first decade, NJII has built this network, in part by virtue of its relationships with NJIT. NJIT specifically created NJII to be an extension of this premier academic institution, which sets the stage for an openness to collaborate. Startup companies can only dream of having this level of access as they are building and scaling their businesses. This access is baked into the Venture Studio. Of course, we need to recognize that many, most in fact, of these startup companies will fail. However, the NJII Venture Studio will have a decided leg up on the competition in enhancing their prospects for success. A key component of our advantage is, of course, the NJII team, led by our dynamic president, Dr. Michael Johnson, who, as he noted, is a proven entrepreneur and startup founder. But not just any startup, a startup that spun out of a university and succeeded. The university startup landscape provides tremendous opportunities, but it also presents unique challenges. Our team has already proven adept at navigating these challenges. Taken together, there is not a better organization than NJII to lead the way in building one of New Jersey's first university venture studios. What is noteworthy is that all the venture studio companies will be incorporated and reside right here in Newark, creating net new jobs and contributing to the economy in our shared community of Newark. I see this as an additive to the great work of Mayor Baraka and his team have been doing to build the technology ecosystem here in Newark. Evidence of that work is right here today. I know we have folks from HACS, the Hard Tech Accelerator just up the road, Audible, EqualSpace, and many others. NJII and NJIT are proud to be part of this burgeoning tech ecosystem in Newark. Let us work together to ensure that the Venture Studio, with the state's commitment and partnership, flourishes and further strengthens the state's and the broader Newark tech ecosystem that Mayor Baraka and his team have done so much to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, for your remarks. How awesome was that Forbes article, by the way? I also wanted to give a special shout out to the budget chair, Assemblywoman Eliana Pintor-Marin, who has arrived, and I just want to thank you for being here to support us today. Anyways, as Dean mentioned, venture studio companies will be based right here in Newark, right there actually, and I honestly couldn't think of a better place to start a company. I've had the opportunity to work in Newark's startup ecosystem for the past 5 years, and I'm sometimes asked, why Newark? And my response is always, why not Newark? Newark is in fact an amazing city to build a company, and a big part of that is thanks to the leadership of our next speaker. Over the past 10 years, Newark Mayor Baraka and his administration have helped shape the thriving tech ecosystem that makes Newark the perfect home for the NJII Venture Studio, all while preserving the unique character that makes Newark, Newark. Now it's my honor to bring up Newark's Mayor, Baraka.
Hello. Good afternoon. Wonderful. I'm not as smart as all the other speakers who came up before me, Governor, but I'm just the mayor of the city. But you know, this to me is a prime example of what we need to be doing to make our state successful. The relationship between the academic community, the private sector, and the public sector is the right combination 100,000%. Want to shout out HACS, shout out Audible, shout out my friends from EqualSpace as well for the work they've been doing in this city for a very long time. Particularly, you know, folks like EqualSpace who started in this city, in this community, with very little resource, with just the idea and the opportunity, and they're doing so great now. Across the street, I used to be a teacher in a school over there called Warren Street School on the same block. A long time ago, one of the oldest schools in the city is now a part of the NJIT, you know, one of the buildings of NJIT. And I say that because NJIT has a long storied history in our city. We're doing an incredible job, and a lot of students that graduate from NJIT and gotten jobs before they even walked off the stage. And now with NJII, those ideas that are formulated at NJIT go right to market at light speed. That's the important thing. If you take talent, you take ideas, and you put it right in the market immediately, and you begin to build an economy here in the city of Newark and in this region, because I believe if you build in Newark, it affects the entire region. And we want to be a tech hub, not just in Newark, we want to be a tech hub in this area. And I think the thing that we have, more than the incredible and beautiful and handsome people in this town, we have the second largest seaport in the nation. Because of the proximity of that seaport and the work that you guys are doing here, not only will we have an impact in this state, but you also can have an impact around the world and affect so many different things that are coming into this area, from supply chain diversity to making sure that we create an opportunity for jobs and making young people who come out of schools like the one that used to be next door to be part of a workforce that's growing, because of what you are creating here between university, NJII, the marketplace, EDA, and the support of the governor's office and everybody else to make this, what's happening here, a reality today. So thank everybody for the kind of collaboration that we see here today. You don't get to see this often. You know, a lot of times we're always in silos and everybody doing their own thing. The only time we go farther is when we go together. And so going together today means we're going to go very, very, very far. The city of Newark thanks you, and I'm sure the people in this region thank you as well. Godspeed.
Thank you, Mayor Baraka, for your beautiful words, as always. We'll next hear from Tim Sullivan, CEO of the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. I've had the privilege of working with Tim and his amazing team at the NJEDA over the past several years on a variety of projects. And in that time, I've learned Tim to be a relentless and compassionate leader who is deeply committed to creating economic impact through innovation. Under Tim's leadership, the NJEDA has launched and expanded programs that drive sustainable and equitable economic growth across New Jersey. We couldn't ask for a stronger partner in launching the Venture Studio than the NJEDA, so please join me in welcoming Tim Sullivan, CEO of the NJEDA.
Thank you, RJ. That was really nice, thank you. It's an honor to be here. It's a very difficult act to follow the mayor and come ahead of the governor, but I'll do my best. It's an honor to be here at NJIT and NJII to celebrate this momentous milestone in the NJII Venture Studio. And I'm glad Michael referenced the early days of the Murphy administration and the journey we've been on to reclaim that leadership position in innovation and entrepreneurship. Because from day one, from candidate Murphy the first time around on through 7+ years of his leadership in Trenton and throughout the state, that's the journey we've been on. But there's been two very specific kind of sub goals or sort of tools we've been advancing to put meaning behind just recapturing that leadership position. One, as the mayor just said so eloquently, deepening the partnerships and the connectivity between higher ed and the real economy, our venture capital ecosystem, and also keeping the lens on building not just the strongest innovation ecosystem in America, but the most diverse and inclusive innovation ecosystem in America. And at a time when inclusive growth is under attack from Washington and other places, at a time when higher ed and the premise of research and development and commercialization is under assault, these kinds of projects, these kinds of investments, I think, are more important than ever. So I want to thank first and foremost Governor Murphy for setting us on that journey, driving us, funding this, all these ambitions. We've committed more than $250 million of cash, not tax credits, but cash into projects like this and the other strategic innovation centers. That funding, by the way, comes from the state budget. Our state budget chair is here. There's an ask in the governor's budget for some further funding, so I have my budget testimony next week, so make sure to say yes in that meeting. I also want to give a shout out to President Lim. So we were on that journey for several years around the starting the Strategic Innovation Centers program and focusing on Strategic Innovation Centers portfolio of projects. And very early on in your leadership, I remember distinctly, we had a lunch you were kind enough to host in your office. It was you and Angela, it was me and Kathleen, and we were talking about all these investments we wanted to make in, again, deepening higher ed and partnerships with the real economy. And President Lim is a gentleman of the highest order, a scholar. He very politely sort of cut me off and was like, nah, I get it. In all my previous roles, we've done really good partnerships with corporates and research and commercialization. Let's go do something big. And after lunch, all the work that goes into sort of making sure that makes sense and it all works. Here we are, so President Lim, Angela, thank you for your leadership and your partnership. Just wanted to do a couple of quick shout outs to the colleagues that I work with. Fairly simple premise in life is you want to do great things, work with great people. 4 of them are here today. Mary Maples, our Deputy CEO, Kathleen Coviello, who Michael correctly credited with all the leadership around all of our innovation and entrepreneurship work. If it's something good happening around innovation, Kathleen's fingerprints are undoubtedly all over it. Ron McKella, Tim Rollander, who lead our Strategic Innovation Center work and lots of other things. There's an extraordinary group of people that can bring together these kinds of partnerships because this is not easy. This is not filling out a form and you send it in and you get a letter in the mail saying you're approved. This is a customized approach to crafting a solution that makes sense in the NJII, NJIT context, in a PAX context, and we worked with MJ many years ago to get that going. The other strategic innovation centers requires nimbleness, thoughtfulness, creativity, rigor, and our team brings that every single day. So I want to give them a deep shout out, deep appreciation. But again, this all starts with the governor's leadership and standing tall for innovation, for inclusive growth, for commercialization, for forming new ventures, and having great partnerships with organizations and institutions like NJIT and NJII. So congratulations, thank you for having me, and appreciate it. And good luck on the expectations are high. Good luck.
Thank you, Tim, for your continued partnership and for always setting the bar high. I like a good competition. So thank you again for setting the bar high. As Tim highlighted, the Venture Studio is part of the Strategic Innovation Center program launched under Governor Phil Murphy's administration. This program, along with others such as the NJ Innovation Evergreen Fund and many others, has strengthened New Jersey's startup ecosystem and expanded access to critical early stage resources. Governor Murphy's steadfast commitment to advancing the state's innovation agenda has helped attract investment, create high-quality jobs, and ensured that New Jersey remains a thriving hub for cutting-edge industries. We simply would not be here today without the leadership and vision of Governor Murphy and his administration. Now, it is my honor to introduce New Jersey's 56th Governor, Phil Murphy.
Thank you. I'm going to date myself and say, MJ, that there was a basketball player who I liked a lot named Jamal Wilkes, and they used to say that he was as cool as the other side of the pillow. And I would say the same thing to you. Thank you for being such a good MC and for all your work. I also want to thank all the outstanding leaders who are with us today, beginning with Mr. President Teik C and his First Lady, Gina. We were out hanging out in the Gulf, more on that in a few minutes, quite successfully. Chair Robert Cohen. Robert, thank you, particularly on a weekday. Michael, great job in your leadership. And Dean, as well, to you and your colleagues on the NJII. I also want to give Tim and Kathleen and Mary and the rest of the team at the EDA a shout out. They have been instrumental in ensuring that New Jersey remains at the forefront of the industries of tomorrow. And we are grateful for everything, Tim, that you and your team have done to support our state's entrepreneurs and to cultivate the most dynamic innovation and inclusive innovation ecosystem in the entire country. There are other folks. Paul Profeta's not here, he's a dear friend. We're in the building named after him, I believe, are we not? So we got to give Paul a shout out in absentia. Jordan, who is another example of somebody I want to acknowledge, whose name is on the College of Science and Liberal Arts. And I take my hat off to Robert and Teik and the rest of the leadership for attracting the philanthropy and support that they have over the past number of years. To all of the trustees in both organizations, NJIT and NJII, to the faculty, the staff, the students here at NJIT, to the elected officials. I'm told Ileana is here. Where are you, Ileana? In the back. Nice to see you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you so much, Newark's own. Great to have you here. And of course, the great mayor of the brick city, Ras J. Baraka. As he noted, by the way, I was going to note this, a former educator himself, who deeply understands the vital link between education and innovation. So many folks, and everybody else here, thank you for having me in big, big day. Many folks consider New Jersey, and I think rightfully, to be the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution. And frankly, for a long while, Newark was at the heart of that, forging the foundation of our state's lasting reputation as a global leader in innovation. Before he was the Wizard of Menlo Park, Thomas Edison might as well been called the Wizard of Newark because he opened his very first laboratory and manufacturing facility right here in the brick city. It was in Newark that Seth Boynton perfected the process of making patent leather and malleable iron. It was here that John Hyatt developed the foundations of camera film. And it is where Edward Weston amassed nearly 300 patents for his inventions in just over a decade. And by the late 19th century, it became quite clear that New Jersey needed a technical school to sustain its industrial leadership. and Newark fought hard to bring the new institution to their city, recognizing that innovation thrives where education and industry work together. And that is how Newark Technical School, known today as NJIT, came to be. So nearly 150 years later, this institution continues to demonstrate its dedication to serving as a vital link, as the mayor said, between education and innovation. That commitment fuels a culture of discovery at NJIT, one that continues to attract top-class talent from around our state, from around the nation, and from around the world. And it drives world-changing developments from the life sciences to technology and everything in between. I mentioned our Gulf trip. New Jersey sells really well globally. Newark sells really well globally. And I can tell you, as Teik and Gina know firsthand, last week we're in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates. NJIT sells really well globally. So with the help of the New Jersey Innovation Institute, Dean, again, thank you, and Michael and the rest of the team, NJIT's, which is NJIT's engine for fostering public-private collaboration, NJIT's reach and its impact have only grown. So today, in a few minutes, we're going to cut the ribbon on the NJII Venture Studio, thanks to the partnership between the EDA, NJII, and NJIT. I feel like I'm in a game of Scrabble. The Venture Studio will provide startups with training, office space, and guidance on operations and management. The entrepreneurs who work in this studio will be able to lean on the innovative leadership NJIT has always been known for, so they can advance their work and carry on New Jersey's century-long tradition of innovation. The Venture Studio will be New Jersey's 10th Strategic Innovation Center, and I might add, alongside HACS, the second right here in the Brick City. And it will play a key role in cementing, as all of these will, our state's reputation as a global hub for revolutionary discovery. I might add, it will also not be our last. Tim and Kathleen and I were putting the outlines together on a very exciting one. Stay tuned, number 11 is around the corner. And like every other New Jersey Strategic Innovation Center, it will bring together the world's best and the brightest to pioneer advancements in the life sciences. Debbie Hart is with us. BioNJ is becoming a globally significant presence. She'll be waving the flag for us in Boston at the global conference in a few weeks. So whether it's life science, fintech, inshore tech, generative AI, and beyond, this is where we will be planting our flags. And I know AI tech is a passion that is shared here at NJIT, and I'm proud that the groundbreaking work of NJIT's recently launched Grace Hopper AI Research Institute will further contribute to New Jersey being a hub for AI innovation. Together, we are positioning our state at the forefront of this new realm of innovation and harnessing its power to help us tackle the world's most pressing challenges. I mentioned the trip to the Gulf. Literally, generative artificial intelligence in one form or another was a central element of literally every single conversation we had, and those conversations numbered in the somewhere between dozens and hundreds. New Jersey's reputation, and I might add Newark's, Mayor, as a world leader in innovation is inexorably tied to our institutions of higher learning like NJIT. The industrialists of the 19th century knew it, and now more than a century and a half later, we have not forgotten. The NJII Venture Studio will enable our state's students, academics, and entrepreneurs to unleash a new era of game-changing discovery right here in Newark, New Jersey. And with your support, we will continue fostering economic opportunities in Newark and across our state and secure New Jersey's reputation as the state of innovation. Thank you all so much.
And when you're ready, go ahead.
Yeah.